Ngama Mtimka. Let's turn to this now. The Special Investigating Unit has recovered more than 6 million from former SABC boss Hlaudi Motsoeneng. This comes after the Constitutional Court dismissed Motsoeneng's application for leave to appeal a court order involving money he received from the public broadcaster. For some insight on this, we're joined now by SIU spokesperson Kaizer Kganyago. Kaizer, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on this evening. For those who might not be familiar with what you were requesting from the courts, talk to us about what were your key prayers in this particular matter, at least from your side, because of course it was taken to the Constitutional Court by the other party.
Thank you very much, Thabo, and to your viewers. This matter came when we were doing the investigation as the SIU into the transaction that happened with what we called success fee that was paid to Mr. Motsoeneng by the SABC when he said he got the deal with MultiChoice done. Therefore, when this matter was brought to us, we looked at the transaction and we found that it was irregular, and then we took it to court and set it aside. Then he went and said, no, I want to appeal this matter, went to the Supreme Court of Appeal. Firstly, he started with the High Court, he did not succeed. Went to the Supreme Court of Appeal, he did not succeed. He then went to the Constitutional Court, that is where we are now, and he also did not succeed there. Therefore, we are now at the end of the legal processes. We are now going into the next phase of making sure that that money is recovered, all of it.
What does that then mean, that you are now in the process of ensuring that that money is recovered? What are those processes going to entail?
Yes, during the whole process, we started by freezing the pension fund, and we then have now received that money that was in the pension fund to the value of just about 6.4 million rand. And then now we've got to look at the properties that he owned, because what then since happened is that 11.5 million ended up with the interest plus the court cases that he did, because we won with costs. Therefore, all of that together went up to about 18 million. And now we have received about 6 million from 6.4 from the pension fund. We now have to get the remaining around about 12 million rand.
And where does that then put this particular agreement? Because you would have looked at this particular board decision and found that it was unlawful and went and tried to get this board decision set aside. But of course, we're here now, and there's a lot been said about this particular deal and how it would have been good for the SABC and so on and so forth. Where does that put this matter now?
Yeah, the deal was not the issue. The issue was more the fact that he was doing his job at the SABC, and therefore there is nowhere in the policies of the SABC where they were supposed to, in the process of doing your work, you can be given what we call success fee, because therefore if that was the case, it should have been operational to everybody who was working there. Therefore, we are not saying there is a problem with the deal itself. What we went to cancel at court was not the deal. It was that process that was entered into by the board at the time to agree to give him the success fee.
Yeah. Now, of course, in other cases of this nature where there are contracts and so on and so forth, you would, for example, look at a company or a business, right, that could have maybe gotten a contract unlawfully to the extent that it got it, but there are certain deliverables that would have been delivered at the time. You calculate them, you say, okay, this is what you deserve to get, the rest you don't deserve to get. How does that work in this particular instance?
Yeah, in this particular case, Thabo, it doesn't work that way, because in this case, whatever agreement was made, I think if I remember, because I was there at the time, it was an issue of saying we agree, and then MultiChoice had to pay the SABC a certain amount. That transaction has happened, and we are not questioning it. We are the issue that was brought to our attention by a whistleblower at the time was this issue specifically of then saying, now that this transaction has happened and we are happy with the amount that is being paid, why do we have to now pay some of that money to somebody as a success fee?
So in terms of, I mean, your reporting, would this particular case go under those cases that would have been completed successfully? You close this docket and you put it to the side?
Yes, we are now, say, almost next to the end, because now all that we need to do in terms of our powers is to recover the remaining amount and then take it back to the SABC. And that will be it. The 6.4 million is already with the SABC, and then the rest we will then have to get and give it back to the SABC, and it will be one of those success stories